Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You are trying to convince people that this is the absolute truth.
Yes.
The Earth is flat. So
Well,
when I look up, what should I think about? Stars, galaxies, planets, everything is spinning,
Okay.
moving, all that stuff.
All right. Let me start by saying that 4 years ago I was an atheist, and I believed totally in the science that we're given, that there's billions of light years or millions of light years and all of this sort of thing, and things are so far away. Now, when I look at the stars, I see them as lights that are close to me, and when we look at them with a high-powered telescope or a camera, we can see them twinkling like this, or doing these little shapes like this, changing color, changing pattern, but it's always like a vibration in water, like a sound, flickering a light in water. That's what I see. So we think that the energy is,
it is vibration.
it's all vibration.
How a star, how does our star works? Okay, it's helium in the center. It burns. It's fire. So we see it blinking because of this within the radiation and all that.
That's the
stuff.
explanation we're given. But can I ask you, do you trust your government?
No.
Okay.
But I trust a lot of books I read about. Even before NASA and government. Okay. South America, I love the culture in South America, and Mayans and even Egypt. These guys, Sumerians, 30,000 fucking years ago. So these guys knew a lot about observation. The same observation we could do now.
Please take a picture.
The same observation that we could do now. So it's just.
Do you have a question before you go?
No, I don't have.
Have you looked into this before, the flat Earth? Okay, and you know it's flat?
I know.
You know that water is always level? Water is always level. All right. And don't you have any questions? I can tell you got questions.
I don't have.
No?
Because all my question, mathematics has given to me the answer.
Do you know the formula for the curvature of Earth that we're given by mathematics? Do you know that formula?
I know that.
Do you know the one that I've been told by mainstream science is 8 inches in the mile squared? Have you heard that one?
So the question is that you are putting in doubt all of work of science.
Yes.
And
I'm saying that science, modern science, is like a religion. You know, it's just like a belief
science
system.
and religions, they are the things
I don't
different.
believe
I don't believe. Religions, they are the believers. Science, they prove things by studying, by math, physics, chemistry. The things different, they are not the same.
Do you believe in gravity?
I do believe, because I can see that when something is in out, I believe in that.
Now, the gravity that allows for water to form to the underside of a marble or a ball, and then flow up the sides of that. Have you ever seen that done practically?
So, as a
yes or no? That's a yes or no answer. You've either seen that, or the truth is, like all of us, we've never seen that effect where gravity can cause water to pull to a shape and then form rivers that will then run up the side, like the Nile River runs up the side of Africa on the ball, right? That's what it's doing.
So, what is your name?
My name is Dave.
David.
What's your name?
My name is Paulo. Okay?
Hello.
Okay. There is a different kind of force. Okay. In physics, there is gravity is another force that was discovered by Isaac Newton. That is.
Well, it's not a force. It's a theory about why something happens.
No,
gravity is not actually a force.
Science considers that as a
we could
force.
prove now.
How do we prove that? How do we prove?
If you drop, it will.
What is?
It will down.
But what is the first law of? Is it the first law of the conservation of energy? Is that if you impart energy into something, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. So when you lifted that book off the floor, you imparted energy to it. And it's just the return of that energy, because that is more dense than the surrounding atmosphere, that will cause it to fall to the floor. Now, I say to you, is that enough to then get water to conform to the underside of a shape? Because we know, guys, but hold on, let me finish this point. We know that water normally needs to be contained in a bowl, in a cup, in a lake.
Of course,
right?
Sure, yeah.
So that's the natural physics.
The theory of Archimedes.
This is not theoretical. This is something we can we don't have to trust or believe in gravity.
It was
we can say that water is always level. So until you can show me that this so-called force that you've imparted into your book and then drop it to the floor is then going to create, if I let the book get big enough, then it's going to start attracting water to it, and the water's going to cling to the underside and not fall off in great oceans, and ships will sail underneath it with no problem at all. This is the belief system, my brothers. This is where it becomes religion. This is where we give up our own true senses and say, if it gets big enough, if I allow these equations to occur, then these things can happen.
So from your point of view, I am looking at your religion right now.
No religion. It's all knowing. There's no.
Yes, how is
I've got theories about how things work, but I'm not going to say I make my belief system on this thing that I cannot. This idea that we live in the vastness of a dark space that you and I can't test.
Religion. We can tell that our is religion and yours is not. Everything is religion.
No, it's about belief. It's about having belief.
All right. Yeah. I believe in facts. I don't believe in God.
But gravity is not a fact.
Yeah, gravity is a fact. We can measure, we can feel it, we can see in the planets how the planets move and all that shit. But if all this is a lie, why NASA want to lie? If NASA lies, right? You told NASA, government, states owned. Why?
Why would they want to lie? To maintain this lie, to maintain the deception going.
I don't think like
now
that.
the deception.
why?
Wait. Let me answer the question that's been.
If you don't mind.
If you don't mind.
You may answer this.
Why would NASA lie? NASA would lie because NASA is a part of the government, a military, and part of the government. The government
in the
is
like
there to it's given to the people. The government. If you let me finish,
how long does NASA exist?
60 years. And do you know who started NASA?
60.
NASA
right?
was started by the Nazis. Do you know that?
Of course.
Yeah.
Okay, Operation Paperclip. They started NASA, and you know who their big friends are? Werner von Braun's big friends, Walt Disney. And a Satanist by the name of his name escapes me. But these guys were all into the same kind of ideation of trying to control the human race. If I may finish, you've got a very good way with words, but if I may finish, the reason the reason why they deceive us is because they want to control us. And why do they want to control us? Is it simply so that they can extort us for taxes and our life energy? Possibly. But I say it goes much further than that. I think there is actually something spiritual, and this is coming from a former atheist for most of my adult life. I've gone through this experience of learning about the flat earth and realized that actually, if it is true, then the entirety of the science that I believe, the evolution, the Big Bang, the coming out of Africa, that we all evolved from a monkey some millions of years ago and all that sort of stuff.
I don't believe in that.
Well, of course, you don't believe in that, but that mainstream science...
No, I believe in evolution, but we don't came from monkey. It's not... we came from the same ancestral... okay, the same being before us was the same. And then we evolved in different ways. Monkeys with tails, okay? Simians in another part. It's us and chimpanzees and...
okay, but you recognize that the thing about evolution, this evolution story, is that it takes away from the idea that the Bible is trying to sell us, and that is that God created us in God's image, right?
It's what you
so
believe.
not... What?
You believe in God?
I believe there's a creator, but I'm just using the term God because it's one that we
there is
understand.
a creator, but you don't believe that there is a God.
No, I believe there's you can call it what you want, Allah.
So evolution does not exist
whatever.
at all.
I don't mind. To me, it doesn't matter, because this creator is above the language that you and I use.
So,
this creator is everything, and we are totally a part of it.
And evolution
for some
does not
reason,
exist.
Evolution, you see, you get microevolution or speciation. You get minor variations that occur when an animal or whatever creature moves to a different area. If I move to a hotter country, for example, my skin would go dark in a very short order, and that over generations might start to change my children's skin. I can accept that minor variations. That for me, but not the idea of monkeys. But let me tell you why it's important. Let me tell you why it's important. I'm here to give you. I'm here to try and give you impart some love and some information about how this system is designed to divide us from the truth about our Creator, and that we are actually Okay, let me just finish that. We are at the zenith, or we are meant to be at the sovereign divine peak or pinnacle, the top of the pyramid. You know the little top of the pyramid that the Illuminati take away? That's meant to be us. But they've taken us off the top of the pyramid, and they have created a whole science or a whole religion that people attach themselves to. Trust me, belief in gravity. I was a believer in gravity.
It is a question to believe you. The question is not just to believe you. The question first of all, is to understand.
Yeah.
Because the believers, there are many people. That's why there are many religions,
Yeah.
many people crying in God, but
Yeah.
they don't know
Yeah.
which kind of
Yeah,
God
and-
they
yeah,
are
and now
believing.
people think
they are
there's
crying.
aliens
But
and
the
UFOs.
question-
I'm trying
That's
to
another
follow
religion.
your line of thinking, but I
Yeah.
can't because
Yeah.
you keep telling
David-
different stuffs and you
Just-
don't keep a line.
All right.
First of all,
Yeah.
I agree with you when you said that in the beginning it was in question of war.
Yeah.
In the beginning it was always like that. But before you told about illuminate.
Yeah.
Who were illuminate? Who, they was what kind of person they were illuminate?
The
You know about
Illuminati?
it?
Yeah, I mean, we could speculate about that, but I think for sure, I didn't think that there was a control system
First
in
of
the
all,
world.
was
But
the
let me-
religion that gave this name of those kind of people? Why they receive this kind of name? Because they have many theories that religions they don't agree with those people, but those people was called by illuminate because they have the ideas that's different of religion. A small group, but science, man. The man always puts a question in himself. Why the fire? Why the water? And man keep on looking the answer for all these things. Not in NASA. No, it's as a Socrates said, man put a question in his mind and he was looking for answer for everything.
Yeah.
God and science, or religion and science, they are things very different. Okay? First of all, science make studies. It's I don't speak.
Do you understand the scientific method? What is the scientific method?
I
study biology.
I study math.
Okay, so can you answer me what is the science?
I
So
can
tell me,
answer you what is
tell
a
me
science.
what is the scientific method? Because this is the method that we're using to prove that we don't live on a globe.
Scientific
So
method.
mainstream science.
It's about first of all theory. All right.
Of course.
If we talk about
Observation.
Einstein was the theory guy. He think about everything we know about physics today,
Yeah.
but he didn't have the enough technology or
To prove that.
or knowledge to prove everything. Okay.
To do
After
experience.
all these years,
I don't
we
like to say
developed
that
the
in English.
technology,
I should
and now we
say
have
better than
the
that.
possibility to prove a lot of his theories, and we are doing this. We as human beings, all right? We are able now to do the experiments and
Yeah,
the
yeah.
tests we need to do
Yeah.
to prove it.
Okay, can you cite me one experiment that we can do to prove that we live on a spinning
Yes,
ball?
yes. There was about one of waves of gravity waves, all right?
No, that
Gravity
you and I
waves.
can do. That's an experiment that the people who are running
we
the
can
show
do.
are doing.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Oh, okay.
Now we don't trust them, so why should we trust
You
the
don't
experiment
trust
that
I
they
do,
are?
yeah, I
Have
do.
you looked at the Have
I
you looked
do,
at the
yeah.
documentary? A funny thing happened on the way to the moon. Have you watched that documentary?
Until now, I don't
watch
trust
the
you.
documentary. Well, that's fine, but watch the documentary and let your trust come from yourself.
Today it's not one.
A funny thing happened on the way to the moon, gentlemen. You watch this documentary and you will see NASA's own footage proving how they faked the moon landings.
I don't
So why
understand
trust
yet.
them if
I
they
don't
did that?
understand.
There are
Why
many things
NASA?
that they do that. There are many. I believe with you. There are many things that they create that. I believe on that. But there are many things. I studied during 6 years mathematics at university in France, and there are many things that we can see with maths, with the physics, and we can see that maybe,
Okay.
as many scientific guys said, maybe there is a creator, but science is another part.
So
And
now you just said two
creation-
things that I got to pick you up on: maths and science. All right, physics. Physics of water has to be contained, always finds its level. Maths says that over 10 miles there should be 60 feet of curvature. Apply that to your real world. That's what I'm saying, and you will realize that it's not there. There is no curvature to be measured over bodies of water.
Human being
over
must
large bodies
believe
of
in
water.
something. We were created by that.
But don't believe in your master. Don't
No.
believe in the master. It's the master that you're defending. It is
Thank
the
you very
people that
much,
have given
David.
us this information that you're defending. 8 inches in the mile squared, maths.
Not me. Math
You're
is
the maths guy.
defining. Science
8 inches
is
in the
defining
mile
that.
squared. You live on a
This is-
24,900 mile ball with a 4,000 mile radius. In order to travel 1/4 of that ball, you need to account for 4,000 miles of curvature and radius. 8 inches in the mile squared, you will never see over bodies of water, small or large. The meniscus of water is simply a wave on a beach at your favorite beach. There is no bending or curving of large bodies of water, and water must always be contained. Water would fall off the globe. Gravity would not apply stronger at the bottom of the globe than on the top. The edge of the ball, there is no edge to a ball. That's why water would always fall off. Water will always fall off your marble. Think about it. You cannot live on a marble. You can live in a big lake, which is what we're suggesting we are. A large lake called Earth. All our continents are simply rocks dotted inside of that lake. Water must be contained. Gravity is a theory based on the thing that something falls because you've picked it up. That's not enough to get water to cling to a ball, my friends. There is no science proof. What experiment would you bring to me to prove to me that you live on a spinning globe? What experiment would you bring? You have no experiments. There is no experiment that you can bring to prove to me that you live on a spinning ball, gentlemen. Your government is lying to you. Your science is a deception. In fact, gravity, my friends, is the biggest religion on earth. Gravity is a deception designed to keep your mind tiny. Keep you in the mind of a child who believes in Santa Claus. The earth is flat. NASA has faked space. NASA faked the moon landings. NASA cannot even get into low Earth orbit. They are flying planes in the sky to deceive you, to make you think you live on a ball and that you're simply a monkey, evolved over millions of years rather than created perfect. You are the center of creation, but your science would have you believe that you're an insignificant ant scurrying on the underside of a Jesuit Vatican-described testicle. Cheers, brother. Keep them at
David.
8 inches per mile squared. 8 inches per mile squared. You won't find it. My throat's a bit dry.
Dave, so how's the feedback with you, my friend?
Well, I'm enjoying the the session. My throat's just got a little bit funny. I need to get some water.
Yeah, okay. We've got a few people in the chat, so...